Few stadiums have left a mark on a city quite like the one that stood in San Diego's Mission Valley. Known by several names, San Diego Stadium, Jack Murphy Stadium, Qualcomm Stadium, and finally SDCCU Stadium. This iconic venue served as a heartbeat of San Diego sports for over 5 decades. Today we're diving into a story of a stadium that witnessed everything from legendary games to rock concerts and even wildfires.
Yeah, I'm a San Diego kid, man. So, I knew all about. They used to call it Jack Murphy Stadium when I was a kid, and before it was Qualcomm, it was Jack Murphy Stadium. And yeah, like just being a kid, like the CIF, like the CIF championships would be there. So I would like in high school, you would see the games and stuff like that. The monster truck thing would always be there, and then of course the Padres would be there. So, I remember, I just remember it was just always there. So
The story begins in the mid 1960s. San Diego was growing fast, and the city needed a proper stadium to host professional sports. In 1965, voters approved a bond to fund the project, and by August 20th, 1967, the San Diego Stadium officially opened its doors. It cost $27 million, and it was designed as a multi-purpose venue to host both football and baseball. With seating for around 50,000 fans, it quickly became the new home of the AFL's San Diego Chargers, who moved from Balboa Stadium. Just 2 years later, the stadium welcomed a second major tenant, the San Diego Padres, who joined the Major League Baseball as an expansion team in 1969.
junior college at Southwestern College. All right, so I worked at IKEA, which is like right by the stadium, and then like when you worked on the back like loading area, you could like hear the game, right? So
Yeah.
I just remember initially was thinking like I would always tell my coworkers I'm gonna play there, I'm gonna play for the Chargers, and then they always kind of laughed and stuff. But in my head, I was like, nah, that's gonna happen. So that was always my first memory, was just like seeing that and wanting to play there.
In 1981, the stadium was renamed Jack Murphy Stadium in honor of the beloved local sports writer who had been instrumental in securing both the Chargers and Padres for San Diego. That decade saw expansion and renovations, including an upper deck in 1983, boosting capacity to over 59,000 people. It was now a true sports cathedral for the city. Through the 80s and 90s, the stadium hosted thrilling NFL seasons, baseball milestones, and a growing list of college football games from San Diego State University. The Aztecs had played there since the beginning and would continue to do so for decades.
Well, I would say, if for like a night game at the Q, and like obviously the fans they'd be drinking all day, so they're always they're always having fun. My favorite fan was like, I don't know if you guys seen, like he's like the guy and he's like in the boat costume, and he was kind of like real buff and stuff like that, with like a lightning bolt on his head. Like, you see those guys, and it was fun. Like, I remember playing like Monday Night Football at the Q, and that to me was that was when it was like as loud as it would get. So I thought we had a really good. If it was a night game, it was a night game, and we were playing well. And when I was there, we were pretty good. Yeah, it would get rocking in there.
In 1997, as the stadium underwent another expansion, naming rights were sold to the local tech giant Qualcomm, and there the Q was born. It now seated over 70,000 people and looked more modern than ever. That same year, it prepared to host its third Super Bowl. Qualcomm Stadium proudly held 3 Super Bowls in total: Super Bowl 22 in 1988, Super Bowl 32 in 1998, and Super Bowl 38 in 2003. In baseball, it was the home of 2 Padres World Series appearances: 1984 against the Tigers, and in 1998 against the Yankees. Though Padres lost both, they cemented their place in the city's sports identity. And then there was Tony Gwynn, the Padres legend who played his entire career here. His final game in 2001 drew massive crowds celebrating a once-in-a-generation player.
The only part that was like, sometimes you would get a lot of road fans there, because people, you got to think like people aren't gonna like, oh, I want to go to Kansas City for a road game, or would I want to go to San Diego? So, just like it is in LA right now at the new stadium, because I've been there a couple of times. Like, there's a lot of road games there. So, like, I remember playing the Eagles when in 2010 when Michael Vick had just came back, and he was killing it. And then like you look in the stadium, and it was almost all Eagle fans out there. So as long as, but if we were playing good, it was a great atmosphere, and I love Qualcomm Stadium.
But Qualcomm Stadium was more than just a sports venue. It hosted concerts from U2, the Rolling Stones, Metallica, and many more. It saw monster truck rallies, motocross, soccer matches, even the 1994 FIFA World Cup had games played there. During California's devastating wildfires in 2003 and again in 2007, the stadium transformed into an emergency shelter offering protection for thousands of displaced residents. It was a reminder of the stadium's role as a community hub, far beyond touchdowns and home runs. By the 2010s, the stadium was showing its age. Compared to the sleek modern stadiums being built across the country, Qualcomm felt outdated. Proposals for a new stadium failed to gain public support, and in 2017, after 56 seasons, the Chargers left San Diego and moved to Los Angeles. That same year, the stadium was renamed again, this time to SDCCU Stadium, under a short-term naming deal with the San Diego County Credit Union. But with the Padres gone since 2004, and the Chargers now in LA, the stadium's best days were behind it. San Diego State University continued using the stadium until 2019. The final college football game at the stadium was played on November 30th of that year, a matchup between SDSU and BYU. In 2020, SDSU purchased the land to begin transforming the site into a new campus and entertainment district. The stadium's demolition began in December 2020 and was completed by March 2021. A brand new stadium, Snapdragon Stadium, opened in 2022 on the same site. It's smaller, sleeker, and built to modern standards, serving SDSU and future events.
Well, it sucks because it sucks. Like, I feel like obviously just growing up, and it was always there, like always there. Like even like when I was done playing football and I'd drive my son to like. My son lived, or his elementary and middle school was right there in Sarah Mesa, so I would drive past the stadium every day from where I lived. So it's like for it to not be there was always kind of weird. I was like almost like a childhood memory kind of gone. But I'm happy that there's a new stadium there, and even though I didn't go to SCSU, I've always loved the Aztecs, so I love what they did with the stadium. I just wish I wish the Chargers were still in San Diego, just because.
Yeah.
Like San Diego is such a big city. I feel like we're, number 8, I want to say, in terms of like the size of cities. And then we don't have an NFL team. Like we literally have one professional team. So I just wish that there was a way that they would have, keeping the Chargers there and having a stadium that would have been, NFL caliber stadium. Because I'll be honest, Qualcomm compared to it was old. It was old, and they could have. I wish they would have renovated it or something like that. I always said like the two worst stadiums in terms of like just how old they were Oakland and San Diego. So, and I love San Diego, but the stadium was beat up.
While Qualcomm Stadium is no longer standing, its legacy lives on in the memories of its fans and the history of San Diego. It was a place where legends played, champions were crowned, and a city came together. Whether you knew it as the Q, Jack Murphy, or simply the stadium in Mission Valley, it was home. For over 50 years, it gave San Diego more than just games. It gave it pride, heartbreak, joy, and community. And that's something that will never be torn down.